Let's say you are trying to lose weight, but then you see this sweet, delicious cookie and you're like, oh, one cookie will not make any difference. Then the second voice appears in your head and it goes like, but you know it's not true. One cookie will make a difference. You know exactly that you won't eat only this one cookie but all of them. And these voices start fighting in your head. And although you know the second one is right, the first one will win. The first voice will make you feel like you have to eat that cookie. You are not able to fight this feeling. You end up eating all of the cookies and you feel bad for yourself. You regret it and you feel like you failed again. Good news! There are 4 steps that you should take in order to get rid of bad desires. Number 1. Evaluate the effects of desires. Actually, let's call these desires habits, because these desires are actually our habits. We all have good and bad habits, but how do we know which are good and which are bad? You should simply try to identify the benefits and costs of your habits. If you're incurring more costs than you gain from a habit, then it's bad. When evaluating your habit, keep in mind that you are likely to be prone to making excuses. Look at the habit from a third-person perspective. No excuses. Try to see the benefits and costs for now, as well as in the long run. For example, smoking. Okay, maybe you feel better for a while, but you have to spend money anyway. Also, in the long run, you run the risk of physical health, mental health, and self-esteem problems. Number 2. Watch for early warning signs. Okay, now you know how you can identify the good and bad habits. Now let's talk about how you can actually break bad habits. You see, when it comes to habits, these are actions that we perform unconsciously. But there is always one thing that precedes the habit. Your task is to start seeing it. Become aware of the fact that if, for example, you are stressed, there is a great chance that in the next minute you'll start smoking. Maybe if you are tired, there is a great chance that you'll want to eat something sweet. Or maybe when you are bored, you start to bite your nails. Try to identify the triggers. Number 3. Use objective representation technique. If you don't know what the objective representation technique is, I highly encourage you to watch this video. But in general, objective representation technique allows you to see everything that happens to you as if from a third-person perspective, without judgment and unnecessary emotions. But how does this relate to fighting bad habits? Well, as soon as you start to feel this desire and see the early warning signs, you should use the objective representation technique and assess how far what you feel you want to do differs from what you know you should do. For example, if you want to quit smoking, you can tell yourself, I know I want to smoke right now, but I also know that I shouldn't smoke and that I will regret it. This urge to smoke will pass in a few minutes. I just have to bravely face it. Literally, tell yourself that the urge of eating junk food, drinking, smoking, whatever it is, will pass in just a few minutes. You just have to wait patiently and eventually fight it. But you can make it. For the first time, it may be hard for you to actually fight this desire. You may even lose this fight. Don't give up though. Try to fight another time and another and another. It will become easier and easier for you every time you win. And eventually, this will allow you to break the bad habit. Fighting this bad habit will become your habit. And finally, number 4, do something else. The weird thing with habits is that it may be hard sometimes to actually get rid of them. But that's not bad. I mean, you can always replace these bad actions with good ones. It is a lot easier than completely getting rid of the habit. For example, if you tend to drink every evening, try reading a book instead. If you tend to eat junk food when you're stressed, try running instead. When you are biting your nails when you are bored, try doing some push-ups instead. Remember, it is always much easier to replace the bad habit with something good than to completely get rid of the habit. Not only that, but also replacing the bad habit with a good habit can bring you more benefits. Well, I've shown you the 4 steps that you need to take in order to get rid of your bad habits. I hope this will help you guys.